understand. I'm 10 toes the fuck down around here. Oh, shit. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? Nigga, I will unfollow you with the swiftness.
You fuck with the team, might find your West in the creek.
What's up, y'all? What's goody? 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 It's your girl Zeze back with another motherfucking video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share, all that, okay? Today's video is going to be about my top 5 black women, okay? And not only is this my top 5 black women, but this is also, I feel like, you know, just black women that every foundational black American should know about, especially foundational black American women, okay? All the women I have chosen are definitely, I feel like, in some way, shape, or form, I am a reflection of them. You know, I learned a lot from them directly, and, you know, they're just inspiration to me. They just, you know, they like that. They like that. All right, we ain't gonna waste no time. Let's get into it. Oh, wait. One thing, okay? After I name my top 5, please stick around. Watch this video all the way through, okay? Because at the end, I'm going to do a honorary mention or mentions of some black women of today, okay? That I think a lot of black women, foundational black women, black Americans, not even just women, men and women, need to follow. Because I get a lot of brothers in my DMs, it's like, oh, you know, you are so special, sister. Like, I love seeing black women to think like you. It's not a lot of y'all out there. And I'm like, yo, bruh, you sleeping on us. It's mad of us out here. You tripping, okay? So I compiled a list of some of the black women that I really follow, that I've engaged with the most. You know, I see most of the content I learn a lot from, you know, and I just rock with because they on code. All of these sisters on code, okay? So stick around for that at the end, all right? Now, up first, we have the oldest, you know, the most elderly, should I say. She was the furthest in the past. She's not necessarily older because she passed. Whatever. Anyways, Harriet Tubman, okay? This sister was a soldier. And when I say they really downplayed the hell out of what she did when I was in school, when I went to these white ass, you know what I'm saying, brainwashing ass fucking public schools, man, they did not teach us shit compared to what I learned about this woman outside of school. Now, first, of course, as we all know, she was born into slavery in Maryland, which I didn't know. Shout out to the DMV, we in the house. First of all, she freed herself, all right, following a damn star. She freed herself following a star in the middle of American chattel slavery. In the middle of American chattel slavery. So not only did she go out on this venture on her own, but she was a black woman in the South doing this. And I make the point that she had to follow a star because that means she could only move at nighttime. Bruh, like, not only did she do that, after she did that, she went back, and I keep saying, I was trying to look up the exact number. I've heard 13 to like 19, somewhere between there, if not 19. But she went back several times, and freed her family, and not only her family, but hundreds of other slaves. And let's not forget this, because this was also a very important part. I just learned this as I was just doing a little research on her for this video. She had narcolepsy. And imagine having narcolepsy before narcolepsy was even a term. They didn't even know what was really wrong with her at the time. She was hit in the head as an adolescent with a 2-pound weight. It was like a slave owner. He was throwing a weight at another slave, and she was like in the middle of it, and it hit her and it knocked her out. She was out for like a month. Okay, and then when she woke up, she just started having spells. She would go to sleep. She would have seizures and shit like that. Not only that, she was a soldier. I mean, she was literally a fucking spy. Like, literally, okay? She was also a nurse, but she was a whole fucking spy. Like, she was one of the first women, not only just black women, fuck that, she was one of the first, if I'm not mistaken, black woman or woman to lead a fucking army down to the South to free slaves. This woman was so powerful, they called her Moses. They was calling her Moses, okay? Let my people go. Like that, okay? She was a straight warrior out this joint. And even after her time spent freeing slaves, she was still a rider for us. She was still helping black people. She helped raise money to build a school and a hospital for freed slaves, for newly freed slaves. After she settled in New York, She used her own house to take in elderly people and adopt orphan children. Not only that, she had a whole damn elderly home adjacent or like across the street from her house. And that's what she ended up dying at, because, you know, she ended up getting older and couldn't take care of herself. She ended up moving over there. But like literally up until this woman's death, she was riding for us. Like, I mean, I don't think it gets no realer than that. Like, she was a rider and she didn't play. She carried a pistol on her. This woman was amazing, okay? Just to say the least. She was amazing. Legend. All right, next up we have Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, okay? R.I.P. to this sister, because she was also a rider, okay? She was one of the first black women to really break down, and also shout out to Dr. Nellie Phillip, because that was like her mentor as well. But she was one of the first black women to really break down racism and white supremacy as a system. And not only that, but she really explained it, like, and it's like, I kind of knew this already, but the way this sister just speaks so eloquently, you know, and just breaks down things. A good example is this, when she had an interview with, what's that dude name? I'm gonna find it and I'll insert it so y'all can know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't watched any of her things before, watch her go debate this white supremacist, because just the way she deconstructs and just, it's so simple.
Put those ideas together with what we know about genetics, what we know about the condition of skin whiteness itself. The condition of skin whiteness is the genetic inability to produce skin pigment called melanin. This is a genetic recessive trait. It is a genetic deficiency state, not as defined by Frances Welsing, but defined by geneticists and dermatologists, that the inability to produce the skin pigment of melanin or melanin pigment is described as albinism. And I think that white people, even though most white people are not consciously understanding their problem in genetics, they are certainly aware that they are genetically dominated by people of color. That's why it was a statement, one drop of black blood makes you black, because people of color have the genetic capacity to annihilate white people. And so unless white people control the reproductivity of people of color, then we can postulate that perhaps one day there won't be any white people. And I think that the very survival of white people necessitates that they project genetic inferiority on people of color, because it is they who really are aware that they are genetic recessive and perhaps genetically inferior to people of color. And to understand why it is that white people have to, the effective majority, large numbers of white people, have to move in a hostile and an aggressive way against people of color, and have to constantly focus on it's you who's genetically inferior, because they realize that there's something wrong with their genetic status.
Her father actually fought in the Civil War, so I think that's why she died. Like, that's a part of her. That's why she kind of has that warrior spirit, that she can handle these white supremacists so well. Also a child psychiatrist and an author. One of her most famous books being The ISIS Papers, which I have not read yet. I am going to read. It's on my list of books to read, okay? But I do suggest, even though I haven't read it, for y'all to read it. Because the sister, I mean, like I said, I just seen some of her interviews and some other things I've read about her, like articles and things like that. But just from what I've learned outside of this book, I can imagine how much you can learn from actually reading the ISIS Papers. One of the main points she pushed when she was alive was that the black male inferiority complex, which goes back to me saying genetic annihilation. And that was basically to say that, you know, white people have a fear of us wiping them out. You know, as y'all know, white numbers they've been dwindling for some years now. You know what I'm saying? Their numbers been dwindling, okay? And they understand as white supremacists that we literally could wipe them out just by having sex with them. That's why black men who carry the seed is so targeted, because they literally hold the keys to their destruction just on their body. Like, naturally, all they gotta do is have sex with one of their women and they just made a black baby. And I always knew that white supremacy ruled damn near every part of the world, you know what I'm saying? And they affect every part of especially black Americans' lives. She breaks it down into 6 sections, which is economics, education, labor, law, politics, religion, and sex and war. Actually, I think that was 7. Actually. And those are the main focuses of attack for white supremacists, because that is how you dominate a people. It's through those main 6 or 7, whichever I just said, sectors of life. Okay, up next we have Assata Shakur, okay? Another writer. Y'all know she was, of course, one of the most famous Black Panthers, and she was also part of the Black Liberation Army. I gotta say this first. White people hate this woman, especially cops. And I'm gonna get into that in a second. But white people hate this woman. I love this woman, okay? First of all, just off the rip, most of the time when white people hate a black person, it's probably because they were some writers. You know what I'm saying? It's probably because they were doing a lot for us. Which she was a writer. Now, as y'all know, the Black Panther Party was dismantled through a program called COINTELPRO. Before she was caught, she actually went into hiding, okay? She was in hiding for like 2 years before they caught up with this woman. Real quick, shout out to all the Black Americans that was helping her do that because, of course, you know, she had to have some help, you know, in the midst of all of that. You know, in the midst of being chased by the fucking government. Like, that's a lot. And the government was like, I'm trying to tell you, they really hated this woman. They was trying to charge her with all types of ludicrous ass charges. They was putting propaganda out on TV to make her look like a criminal. Like, that ass. They was trying to capture this woman. So, when they finally do find this woman, and it's like she gets pulled over on a traffic stop. If y'all not too familiar with her story, she gets pulled over on a traffic stop, and allegedly, she shot and killed an officer. But not only that, she was also shot 2 times herself by these fucking police officers. She gets arrested, they take her to trial, and of course, and she actually calls this a legal lynching, because she was convicted, of course, by an all-white jury. It was torturing this woman, targeting this woman, Lord knows, just the things, you know what I'm saying, they could have been doing to her inside this fucking jail.
The only black woman in the maximum security prison at Alderson, West Virginia, in a prison with the Aryan Sisterhood, about 11 or 12 members, and with the Manson family, women, they call themselves red and blue. One was Squeaky Frome, and the other one was Sandra Good. And
after 2 years of that bullshit, she was like, you know what? It's about time for me to get the fuck up out of here. So she found an escape route out that joint. She got, you know what I'm saying? Of course, she had some other Black Americans working with her. Shut up, there. But she escaped that mother, okay? And she went to Cuba. She had political asylum there, so the U.S. couldn't even do that, you know what I mean? And they tried. Nigga, they still trying, okay? I think Trump, not too long ago, was calling for Cuba to release her to the U.S. They was like, hell nah, okay? Shout out to Cuba. And her last interview was like a few years ago. And she's still staying 10 toes down even over that. She like, look, I ain't do that shit. I don't know what the fuck they talking about. She's still unapologetically black. She's still, you know what I'm saying, with the shits. You know what I'm saying? But she like, look, I ain't do that shit. These motherfuckers lying. I ain't taking my back to America. They ain't getting me.
Chesimard, or Assata Shakur, insisted she had killed no one and was railroaded by an all-white jury and by what she called racist New Jersey state troopers.
Did you shoot Werner Foster?
no, I did not. I was shot with my arms in the air, then shot again in the back, and then left on the ground to die.
That is absolutely false. Our investigation shows that Jillian Chesimard initiated the conflict. She reached into her pocketbook, pulled out a 9mm weapon, and started firing at Trooper Harper.
Were you holding a weapon?
No, I was not. The other police that was at the scene,
other trooper,
started to shoot. And, you know, after that, everything is like foggy. It was horrible. It was like a prolonged version of hell. You know, they were coming by me and saying, is she dead yet? Is she dead yet? And I was later taken to a hospital, and I was beaten. I was tortured.
Why did Assata Shakur escape from prison using hostages as a shield instead of appealing her case to higher courts?
I never received justice, and I escaped, A, because I was afraid for my life, and B, because I knew that I would never receive justice. It was a clean escape. No one was hurt. I planned it as well as I could plan it, and that's all I got to say about it.
I mean, her just being a Black Panther and being in the Black Liberation Army alone, I really didn't have to say nothing after that. But the fact that she fled, okay, she endured 2 years of of prison with these wicked ass rights of white supremacists who was doing, like I said again, Lord knows what to her, and then go to Cuba and she's still staying 10 toes down even over there. Man, I can't do nothing but respect this sister, alright? Our third woman up is going to be Sister Souljah, okay? Alright, and I'm talking about Sister Souljah now. She's a little more conservative. She kind of like not in the spotlight. She be chilling. I think she still do write her books and stuff like that. But she's not really as much in the spotlight, nowhere near as much as she was young. So when I say Sister Souljah, I'm really referring to the young Sister Souljah because she was something serious. Let me just mention this too. Her baby hairs used to be fleeky. Okay, her baby hairs, she was fleeking her baby hairs before baby hairs was on fleek. You feel me? And not only was she an author, she was also a recording artist. And a lot of her music wasn't even like, she didn't even make like, she wasn't no damn Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion. Okay, she wrote some real shit. Like she wrote real rap, and she was writing about Black American issues, you know what I'm saying? Like really trying to wake people up. Again, this is another sister that white people can't stand, okay? Gotta love her, okay? One of the ways she got famous is because Bill Clinton, the whole damn president, actually came for her after her thoughts she had on racist white people. As far as to compare her to David Duke. Yes, the white supremacist KKK David Duke. But the way she responded to this man, just beautiful.
I, however, did not fail to do my research, and my research reveals the following indictment of Bill Clinton's integrity. Number one, Bill Clinton is a draft dodger. So here is a man who feels that it's all right to send your son to fight in the war, but would not fight in the war himself for the principles that he says he believes in. Number two, Bill Clinton talks of morality, but admits that he was a reefer smoker who doesn't inhale. Sister Souljah has never smoked reefer and is completely drug-free. Number three, Bill Clinton says he believes in a strong family unit, but could never quite get his own personal and social behavior together. Treatment and dismissal of Jennifer Flowers is indicative of how he relieves himself from his own personal responsibility and created an emotionally abusive environment to another woman. He seems to be very comfortable attacking women to Jennifer Flowers. Number four, Bill Clinton says that Sister Souljah is a racist, like David Duke, a well-known Ku Klux Klan member and white supremacist, but was a member in an all-white segregated club up until this year. Bill Clinton portrays himself as compassionate, yet he supports giving prisoners lobotomies and removing a section of their brain.
She ain't that man up with facts. I mean, it was just that simple. And not only that, if you look up some of this woman's interviews, like the way she articulates herself and just holds herself down like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? When I say she's unapologetically African, she was that all the way, like for real. And she was not scared at all. She was fearless when she spoke. It was amazing. It's amazing still to see, even just to look back now and see the way she speaks. When she was on the Donahue show for the Race is the Issue special, I think she was one of the youngest people, if not the youngest person up there, black person up there, and she was holding it down. She was standing 10 toes, and she was making better points than some of the people up there. And also, one of her most popular songs was Slavery is Back in Effect. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is go back and watch that video. You can get a feel for how, like, real this sister was. On some real shit. Also went to Rutgers University, okay? Shout out to Rutgers, only because my older sister went there as well. So, hey, that's lit. So she kind of reminds me of my older sister. So that's another reason why I kind of connect with her. She even joined Public Enemy. Tough. Of course, like I said, she is an author, but she has some of the most legendary black novels that's out there. Like, I think everybody has at least read one of her books. I haven't read one of her books yet. But my daddy used to sell her books when I was a child, and I remember niggas used to love her books. Well, I definitely do want to read one. I think the coldest one ever, I think that's one of her most popular ones. So that's definitely one I want to pick up one day on my list of books to read, okay? Not only did she do her work here, she helped build a hospital out in Zimbabwe. She also had an African survival camp. But I believe that was here, but it lasted 6 weeks, and it was for homeless children. Last but not least, I had to save her for last because, as y'all know, I'm reading her book right now. I love this sister. This is crazy. Like, I mean, the amount of information that I've already gotten just from her book, but not even the book, just before I even read the book, just watching her interviews and hearing her speak, which brought me to wanting to read her book. I mean, she's a genius. Okay, I don't even know how to say it later. This woman is amazing. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm referring to the Queen, Shahrazad Ali. Okay, God, I really hope I meet this sister one day. She's an author. She's made multiple books before, but she's mainly known for the Black Woman's Guide to Understand the the Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman, and the Black Woman's Guide to Understand the Black Man. It was very popular in like the 90s. Black women back then, like the feminists, the more liberal, when you start to get into that new wave of feminism, Black women couldn't stand her. Of course, Black women loved her, but there was a lot of Black women that could not stand this woman, and that's because she was speaking facts about us. And I already said it before, Black women, we don't like to be told about ourselves. We don't like to be held accountable for the bad things. We love to hold ourselves accountable for the good things we do. But when it comes to the negative aspects of us, we do not want to hear that shit, okay? So, I mean, the fact that she was just speaking so much real shit, we wasn't ready for it, okay? Honestly, some of us still ain't ready for it to this day, honestly. And the book is from the 90s. This book is literally damn near everything in this book. Honestly, I can't even think of something that's not relevant. Everything in this damn book that I've read so far is relevant to today. Is damn near perfectly describing some of the Black women that's out here today. He had some very unpopular opinions on, Black love and Black relationships. She really connected the effects of racism and white supremacy and how that affected our communication with Black men, our love for Black men, our self-image, our self-esteem, our own behaviors. Like, she breaks that down so beautifully. And this was another sister on the Donahue show. Matter of fact, damn, Dr. Francis Cress Wellin, Sister Souljah, and Shahrazad Ali, all three of them was on the Donahue show. All three of them shut shit down, okay? If you ain't gonna go see that, go watch her on that show. Go watch her. Matter of fact, for Shahrazad Ali, it's an interview called Vibrations, I think, with and it was like a perfect kind of counter to that, because it was like her, who was like the wise older Black woman, and then the young kind of feminates Black woman of that time, and really of today.
And
Absolutely.
in your book you say that we are not bringing up our daughters and our sons in a correct manner to respect their fathers.
No, we're not. Unfortunately, as I say, since money has been used as the measure, many times if a Black man does not have money to give us, we won't even let him see his children. We won't let him spend any time with it because he does not give us whatever the child support is. And I'm not saying that we don't need money to raise a child, but I try to explain to Black women that raising a child consists of much more than feeding, clothing, and sheltering it. That's maintaining one. To raise one, you need a return of the parental coalition of the father and the mother to put the proper values into the child. Many of our boys, when we raise them alone, they grow up with the female emotional mechanism. They are suspicious, they are doubtful, they're disrespectful of womanhood, they are bitchy, they can't make a decision. And many of our girls who grow up in a home where there's no man present, they go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have any idea how to live with a man day to day, how to prepare a proper meal, how to be a mother, how to just be in love in the home. Most of what our people and our children especially have learned about how you have a relationship, they learned off of television. And television doesn't represent our needs. And so a lot of the confusion has come, from outside agencies that we have not recognized how detrimental it has been to us as a people.
Can I play devil's advocate for just a moment?
Well, I wish you wouldn't, but I know you must. Go on.
What if I am a good wife, his home is clean, his kids are fed, I'm making sure they're well educated, I help them with their homework, I'm a good lover in bed, I help him with the finances, and I say, look at that, he still took a walk.
Well, that's something else that's been confused about my book. I advise Black men and Black women, I certainly tell men that if you are with a woman who you have been with for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 6 months, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and that woman refuses to cooperate with your ideas, does not want to get with your program of right, whatever it is, then I tell those men, get rid of that woman and get another one. And I tell Black women the same thing. If you are with a man that you cannot be in agreement with, then get rid of him and get with a man that you can be in agreement with. If the man you're with is not treating you the way that you want him to, and you feel that you have put in enough time to demonstrate your commitment and your sincerity of efforts to try to make the relationship work, I don't tell people to just stay in that relationship. I'm trying to teach us that we waste a lot of time being angry with each other and being dissatisfied in relationships. Get out of it and get with one where you can be happy.
You say that the black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman.
Many of us, yes. That's unfortunate.
How do you see that?
Well, that's something that was almost accidental, I'd have to say. See, the white woman has been the only mentor that we have had of a female. We've seen her every day of our life on television, every magazine, every newspaper, every commercial. You know, it's just been her face, her body, her image, whatever it has been in front of us. And so today we have the results of that. We have black women who are trying to dye their hair blonde, who are wearing blue and green contacts in their eyes, you know, who wear tons and tons of layers of makeup, who have changed their voice, who have hair weaves so they can have flowing long hair blowing in the wind, you know, like Brooke Shields or somebody, you know. And so that's been an accident. And as a result of us doing that, we have also adopted the women's liberation movement goals of wanting to be liberated from the man and have some kind of pseudo-equality, when while that may be true of the white woman and her plight with the white man, that's not really the black woman's business, because we haven't been under the control of the black man for over 500 years. So what do we have to be liberated from him from?
How do you feel about the fact that many people accuse you of wanting to see the black woman at a point of submission? Is that where you want to see a black woman in the 1990s?
Well, it depends on how you define submission. Those words have a tendency to have a negative connotation for us because of how they were used against us during slavery and what we connect them to. But actually, the kind of submission that I'm referring to just means cooperation and agreement. I don't think that anybody could say that I represent a woman who is subjugated in any kind of way. I don't think that anybody could say that my personality sounds like some man has me somewhere crawling around on the ground or walking 10 paces behind him. So I'm not representing that. I'm representing strength. I'm saying that we have a lot of power. We have power to make heaven and hell for our men. And I'm saying, let's try making heaven. Let's try to build him up. If a man has his woman behind him, he will believe he can do anything. And all we need to do is to get our men to believe that they can do anything. And he'll be able to, you know, do much better than he's doing now and come out of the pitiful condition he's in. As I said, I'm not exonerating him. I'm just saying that all of that strength that we have, let's use it in a more positive way instead of just going for self. You know, nobody told us that all of that being my own person and I'm independent would lead to separation and loneliness. But that's what we had to trade for that.
She stays 10 toes down no matter what. She doesn't get like too angry. She don't be gotta yell. She ain't gotta call you names, nothing like that. But she breaks down truth like to its core. It's like it's nothing. You know, off the top, she don't even need no script. She don't need no notes, none of that. It's just off the top. She can rebuttal. I love it. Like I said, one of her main focuses is really just rebuilding the black family, really getting the black woman to get herself together so we can get our families together. And not only that, and holding black men accountable as well, and getting to make sure and telling them to get their stuff together. But really making it about unity. You know, not saying like male bashing or women bashing just to talk shit. Like really breaking down our issues so we can help mend them, so we can start real conversations and not just be sitting back and complaining. And of course she goes in on feminism and white female liberation and how that really does nothing for us. She really points out the fact of how we've really been trying to live white lives. Like we really try to hold our man to white male standards. We not them, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times we try to hold ourselves to white women standards and those are our standards. Those not our culture. They not us. She's helping me realize so much about myself, so much about the women around me. And I'm like, damn, you got toxic behavior. You got toxic behavior. I'm looking in the mirror like, you got toxic behaviors. I got toxic behaviors. I was so desensitized to it. I thought it was normal. You know, I thought it's womanly. That's not. You know, it's toxic. On some real shit. Please go read this Twisted Sister book. Go look at one of her interviews. Just go, please. All right, so that is my top 5. Again, shout out to those sisters. They all riders. They all warriors. They all just unapologetically black, unapologetically, you know, real, raw, just fighting for us. They just, man, these are women that I aspire to be, that I look up to, that I love. Just, I mean, these are beautiful women. If you ain't know about them, please go look into them. today. Now, I want to do a quick, like I said, honorable mention. Now, this is only about 20 names, or really, I wrote down their social media handles, and I'll try to insert a picture of them if I can go back and find a picture of all of them. Go follow them because all of these black women are on code. All these black women, we share either similar or the same ideas. I mean, even if we don't, they still are very much black first. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely y'all need to go support these women, okay? Go follow these women on their platforms, all right? All right, first things first, we got Erica Lachey. Shout out to my friend, okay? In my head, we friends, we here, okay? Love this woman. She's a writer, and she's also from, oh no, I was about to say, no, she's not. I was about to say she's from DC. No, she's not. I think she's from, LA. She's from LA. But anyways, writer. Y'all go follow her. I think it's Erica Lachey on all platforms. Sarah Lena, very feminine, very like cute. Like she be making cute little videos about, you know, how to attract the right woman. I mean, no, to attract the right man. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing that may be toxic as a woman. Very good. She's going to get you leveling up into your divine femininity. Please follow her as well. Sarah Lena. Divine Stargate. I actually just followed the sister. She was already following me. Shout out to her. But she's very on code too. I found her through Erica Lachey. Very on code, very spiritual. Definitely go follow her. Black mixed with black. I love this sister on Twitter. She be tweeting out the spitting them facts on Twitter, okay? Shout out to her. Seren. I love Seren, okay? And her YouTube name is like Sensei Ashin. I don't know how to pronounce the damn last name. But her name is Seren, and she's from DC, okay? DMV in the house. We lit. Alright? So, yeah, she's from DC, and she's a writer. I love Seren. I actually learned about her from a viral video she did about Bruno Mars a while ago, talking about he's a cultural appropriator or shit like that. That was the first video I see. I think that's how a lot of people learned about her, because that video really went viral. But she's a writer. She's a separatist. She real as hell. I fucks with her. Also, this is a channel, Fly Nubian Queen on YouTube. They actually have a bunch of sisters up there that you can follow. Just go on there. All the sisters up there is on code. Some of the main ones I focus on that channel is one, shout out to Lioness Crowned. That's her IG name, okay? She is like that, okay? She makes a bunch of YouTube videos and goes live a lot on Fly Nubian Queen. She be exposing these white supremacists, these white feminists, all of them, okay? I love this sister. She's a writer, and I met her at the Foundation of Black American Conference, okay? Shout out to her. Queen Assata Shakur, I also love this sister. She be exposing them as well. Vicky Dillard. Now you somebody I might have known about Vicky Dillard. Vicky Dillard been doing this for a minute, okay? She been out here, okay? She been a writer, all right? Vicky Dillard is very spiritual, very wise. She be exposing them out the gate, okay? Out the gate. This woman is a writer. Follow Vicky Dillard. Kanisha Taught You. Now, actually, some brothers got me hip to her. Somebody, a brother I think sent me her page. I rocks with her too. Her YouTube channel, definitely go follow that because she makes videos like me. She be exposing them. Blue Mints on Twitter, she be tweeting that real. Sana, or how do you pronounce her name? Yeah, Sana Mama on Twitter, rocks with her as well. I can't read this name. Kotors on Twitter. Kotors, I don't know. I'm gonna find it. I said it's how I can answer her. Follow her too. Crown Veil. I actually went live, but this is a couple weeks ago, or like I think it was like a week ago. She's on code. Okay, this sister is on code. Go follow her. Bree and Layla. Of course, I know I got hip to them through Tariq Nasheed through Ism Radio. Shout out to them. Layla Lopez on Instagram, and then Bree Ariere on Ariere. I hope I ain't pronouncing her name right, but Ariere, I don't know. On Instagram. But Bree actually has a clothing line. Make sure y'all go support. And Layla has this bomb-ass body butter she has. And I bought some at the Foundation of Black American Conference. It's bomb. It got pheromones in it. It's going to attract who you need, okay? D. Tubman. Now, D. Tubman, she be on I'm pretty sure if you don't know who she is, you'd have probably seen her before in Tariq Nasheed's live. I think she be on, like, Dr. Boyce's live. She be on a bunch of people. Like, she supports a bunch of black social influencers. So definitely go follow her. She's real. She's a writer. Divine by Nature on IG. This sister, I think she's a Muslim sister. Writer as well. Mila_X_. That's her Instagram. That's another one. Rhea X on Twitter. And Henrietta Snacks on Twitter. Henrietta Snacks, I actually kind of like that. It's kind of funny. I don't know. Both of them writers. All the women I just named, women, black women, foundational black American women on code. I believe all the women I just named are Foundation of Black American Women. I believe, if not, y'all can correct me in the comments, but I believe all of them are Foundation of Black American Women. Even if they ain't though, all of them writers, all of them thorough, all of them you need to know about, okay? Go follow them. But other than that, that's all I got. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn on my notification bell, all that. Other than that, that's all I got. All right, y'all.
All these These rap niggas same top pick, can't fit in my frame.
We on the scene, we do not play but I green.
You fuck with the team, might find your ass in the creek.
We crossing our T's, we don't never